buckle your seatbelts, because tonight, or maybe this morning, we have people from all over the world. And I just want you to know, I'm very touched, very honored that you've taken time out of your busy life to be here with me today. It really means the world to me. And my intention is to shake you up a bit. And hopefully for many of you, literally from today forward, you leave here with a completely new and different understanding about health and healing and how it all works. So I'm going to ask everyone to please mute your phones and keep them muted so we can keep the recording nice and clean. And I see a lot of new faces on the call tonight. So I want to review some basics and welcome you if you are struggling. Some of you are here, I know, because you're struggling with physical pain, perhaps chronic physical pain. Others of you might be here because of depression or anxiety or some kind of trauma that you've been through, or perhaps an accident or an injury or a surgery that went bad. Many people are here because they can't stop the ongoing relationship with Ben and Jerry or Jack Daniels, or, the shopping sprees or some other type of binge eating. And this causes a lot of pain. Many people are here because they haven't slept, sometimes in a decade, all through the night peacefully. Maybe you have migraine headaches or some other type of chronic condition where you've tried everything you know how to try, and either nothing has worked or nothing lasted or nothing worked the way you had hoped. And many of you I know, because I read the emails and I've worked with some of you, I know that nothing has shown up on a medical test. And the doctor's scratching his head and doesn't know what to do. And this is about the most frustrating thing on planet Earth. So if you're here because you're suffering from any kind of pain or pattern or symptom or a chronic condition, I want you to know you are in the right place. And everything that I'm going to share tonight with you, even when I use the word pain, don't think of it as back pain, neck pain, just physical pain. Just fill in the blank with your version of whatever is painful that's going on in your body, your mind, your emotions, your spirit, your life. Some people even come to my calls and work with me because they're in financial pain, and they have relationship pain, or they can't hold down a job to save their life, or they don't know what their purpose is and they feel lost, like they're just an alien. What am I doing here, right? Now, those of you who are here probably have heard me speak somewhere on a telesummit or a podcast interview. So I won't go into my whole story, but I do want you to know enough to recognize that I get you and I understand pain at a very deep level. Many, many years ago, over 30 years ago now, I went through my own health hell. And I discovered that hell was not somewhere I was going, it was right here. And I had to find a way to live my life without pills, without constantly needing some kind of therapy, without the lotions and potions and Prada and pot and all the things that I had tried to get rid of the physical pain. I had mystery pains that showed up all over my body and they would come and go and no one could figure it out. My thyroid didn't work. I couldn't sleep without a sleeping pill, or I would drink myself to sleep. If there was a box of cookies or a cake, you better hide it from me because I was going to eat the whole thing. I had no willpower over food. Now, if you had been looking from the outside looking in, my life looked pretty good. I had a great job, a handsome husband, a big house, a brand new BMW in the garage. But let me tell you, internally, I was dying. I was miserable. I was filled with two feelings. Either I felt anxious or depressed, anxious or depressed. I was not a happy camper, but you would not have known because I was taught to fake it till you make it and smile and pretend everything's fine, just fine. Oh no, I've got this. Everything's fine. Well, it wasn't fine. And one day I crashed and burned. I couldn't get off the floor of my closet. I couldn't stop crying. I couldn't get dressed and I couldn't go to work. And I was out of ideas and I was out of willpower trying to fake it one more day. And I finally surrendered. And I screamed out to a God that at the time I did not believe in. And I had a spiritual experience that rocked me to the core. I mean, literally, like shook the foundation of everything that I believed in. I grew up in a medical family. I believed in doctors. I believed in pills. I believed in data. Now, I still, look, I'm not here to, I love doctors. My whole family is full of doctors, love medicine, love the care that people really, when they want to help another human being. That is what it's all about. But there was a missing puzzle piece, and I wasn't getting the help that I needed. And that day, I connected to what I would call a spiritual realm, a spiritual power, which completely changed my understanding of how everything works and about my life and about my purpose. And I started a new chapter and I've never looked back. Now, if you're already rolling your eyes and thinking, yeah, I want that spiritual stuff, I believe in science, you're still in the right place. So stay with me. Because what I've learned over 3 decades now is that science explains it, ancient spiritual cultures explain it, and they're saying the same thing in a different language. Now, what the heck does this have to do with your back pain? Stay with me. We live in a universe that has both an invisible realm and a physical, I can touch it, feel it, see it, hear it, taste it realm. 2 different realms. And the big misunderstanding in the health world, you may want to write this down, is that the invisible realm, which is made of energy and energetic information, the invisible realm is the precursor to the physical realm. The invisible realm, the stuff that often gets labeled as woo-woo and out there and just your imagination, is the precursor to the physical. Everything that shows up in your physical life or your physical body started somewhere else. The body is the effect, not the cause. Let me say that again. The body is the effect, not the cause. And we live in a world that's focused most of the time on the symptom rather than the root cause of the problem. And this is the #1 reason why you feel stuck and blocked and you cannot figure out what the heck is going on with you, particularly if you're suffering from any kind of physical pain or disease symptom. Now, it's also true whether you're struggling with money or can't sleep at night or relationships. There are hidden reasons that will not show up on a diagnostic test that are below the surface of the symptom. And again, you may want to write this down. The symptoms are never the root cause of the problem. Let me say that again. The symptoms are never the root cause of the problem. And so we're lost and we're going round and round in one of those revolving doors, trying to get out into the hallway, and we can't get out because we're looking at the symptom, focused on the symptom, focused on the problem, focused on the pain, trying to cut it out or drug it out, trying to find the missing car part or the damaged car part. And we haven't looked deep enough and asked the right questions to get to the root of the problem. So I want you to think about a tree. I used to live in Arizona and I had a beautiful orange tree in my backyard. And this thing had fruit galore. And for years, it was just the most beautiful tree. And we would eat the oranges and make juice. And one year, all of a sudden, the oranges started getting brown and shriveled, and they were small and they were falling off and they were not edible. There was something wrong. The tree was sick. Now, if the tree is sick, do I take the nutrients and the water and pour it over the oranges? No, obviously, right? You laugh at that thought. We have to get down to the roots of the tree in order to heal the tree. And the roots are often hidden from view. They're underground. They're not where we look. We see the oranges, and that's a symptom. So if you're here today and you have back pain, neck pain, carpal tunnel, TMJ, all the labels, fibromyalgia, arthritis, everything that you've been labeled with, I'm going to ask you to, for today, suspend the label and let's go deeper to the hidden reasons, to the hidden roots, because the label helps you focus more and more on a symptom. And we live in an energetic world, and where you put your attention is where your energy goes. And what you focus on with your energy increases. Now, really hear me on this, because this is the key. If you get nothing else that I say, what you focus on increases. And most people are focused on what they don't want. They're focused on the problem, the symptom that they're trying to get rid of. So all day long, unknowingly, you're trying to get rid of your anxiety. And all you do is think about it, and you Dr. Google it, and you look for solutions for anxiety, and you're worried about having it before you even get out of bed in the morning. This is the exact opposite of what we want to do. And it's why it never seems to go away. It gets stuck because it's energy, and you're focused on what you don't want, and what you focus on increases. Are you with me? Give me a wave, a thumbs up, some love, some hearts if you're following me and you're with me. All right, Candace is with me, Angie's with me. Where's everybody else? If you go down to the toolbar at the bottom where you see reactions, you'll be able to talk to me in Zoom speak and give me some love and let me know you're on track. Okay, cool. Lots of you are with me now. All right. Now, pain's an interesting thing because nobody likes the feeling. Nobody. And if you've been told you have a certain disease, nobody wants that. I'm not suggesting you ignore it, suppress, repress, or deny anything. But what I've discovered over 3 decades of working with people now, and after having my transformative experience, and by the way, I forgot to tell you. So after having this really transformational experience, I started to meditate regularly, and I began to have a series of really powerful, what I would call spiritually transformative experiences. It went on for almost a year. And what was revealed to me, literally, I could see and hear, and I knew with every fiber of my being, I saw that everything in the physical universe is made of energy, vibration, frequency. Now, these buzzwords are being tossed around a lot now, more than ever before. And I bet almost all of you have heard these terms before. And if you're new to them, great. But still, the people in this group tonight, you are the trailblazers. You're ahead of the curve. But we have entered a new era where energy, vibration, and frequency, there's now a lot of science that's showing us that this is the missing key that we have yet to understand fully in the health and healing industry, that we've been focused on patching up the holes and covering over the symptoms, but we haven't understood the energetic basis of everything that exists. When I had these meditations, I didn't know it at the time, but what was being revealed to me are the principles from quantum physics. Now, quantum physics was like not even on my list of things that I was interested in. Like, there's no way in hell you could have ever gotten me to a quantum physics class. I mean, I was trying to skip those kind of classes when I was in school. So, but what I finally recognized was that there was a truth to all of this that I just knew was truth. And I was seeing the results of it in my life first, and then in other people's lives. I felt life force energy flowing through my hands. And I knew that it was going to be first used to help myself and then other people. And that's why, since that day, I've never looked back. And it took me quite a while to clear out all the cobwebs in my head, all the fears and the doubts. And what are people going to say about me and think about me? And what's my father going to say? And, on and on with the beliefs. I had to work on my beliefs, and I had to clean up what I had been programmed with, because I recognized this was really an important revelation. And once I saw it started working with people and saw the results, like, for example, people who had been diagnosed with fibromyalgia and had been in chronic pain for 20 years. And in less than an hour, they were walking away pain-free. Now, when these things happen, it woke me up. It made me more than curious. It made me want to figure this out and stick with it until I understood what was going on and saw whether it was consistent and benevolent. And, I had a lot of things that I wanted to figure out about it, but I did. And I knew it was important. And it took decades before the science showed up. But in the early days, I recognized that there were spiritual traditions that talked about what was happening. And this was not new, it was ancient. And for some reason, I was blessed to become aware of it. And yet, at the same time, what I know now is that every single one of you can learn to do what I do. It's not some special gift just, given to Deborah, but I was ready for it. And over the past number of years, I've actually been able to train hundreds of people in what I do. So don't think that you're a victim of anything. You just haven't learned yet who you really are, what you're here to experience. And guess what? Your pain and whatever you're suffering from might be the very doorway into an entirely new understanding, just like it was for me, about not only life and how it works, but you and your purpose on planet Earth. And I've come to realize, the body, it's not your enemy. The body is your friend, and it's trying to get your attention because it has a message for you. But we misunderstand because we don't know how to interpret the body. The body tells the story of your life. Every pain, everything that's going on is trying to get your attention and tell you something. Now, back to this concept of everything is energy. Did you know that the left side of your body is your feminine energy side, and the right side of your body is the masculine energy? And everything, no matter what your gender, everyone has both masculine and feminine energy. And there's a constant dance going on between the two. And many, many, many people that I work with are out of balance in one or the other. So for example, if you have a lot of right-sided issues, if you have a lot of pain on the right side, or certain areas on the right side have been giving you symptoms, I'll take a specific example, and I'm generalizing. So, until I work with people individually, this doesn't always apply 100% to everyone, but this will give you an idea of how to think about your body in a new way. So a lot of people come to me because they have severe neck, shoulder pain. And the shoulders, literally, the body's a metaphor. So the shoulders represent You've heard the term, people saying, oh, I've just got this huge burden I'm carrying around. I feel like I'm carrying a 10-pound weight on my back or my shoulders. We literally carry the pains of life, and our body starts expressing them. So many people who feel responsible for a male in their life or their own masculine energy is painful. And by the way, your masculine energy is often your work. Doesn't matter if you're a female, a man, or a woman, your work is masculine. And this often shows up as frozen shoulders, shoulder pain. And these symptoms get worse and worse, and people take even heavy duty pain pills, and the pain is still there. Now, how does this happen? Because the body's trying to get your attention. My own mother, she had her gallbladder taken out because she had classic gallbladder symptoms. She still has all the gallbladder symptoms and no gallbladder. What's going on here is that there are three things that contribute to pain, symptoms, and suffering. Three things, only three things. And it has to do with your habits of thought, what you believe to be true, and what you rehearse over and over in your mind. And we know from science, the average person thinks 90,000 thoughts a day. Now, most people think about 12 thoughts and they repeat them over and over, 90,000 thoughts a day. And if you don't understand what's going on and you're worried about what's going on, you might be thinking about the problem 90,000 thoughts a day. This has an impact because your thoughts are a force as real as electricity. It is sending instructions to your physical body. And thoughts generate emotions, and emotions generate more thoughts. And this is how you go round and round in that revolving door, because the thoughts and the emotional reactions show up in the physical, and your physical expresses this. So we have to find and release the damaging thoughts. We have to, because otherwise you stay unconscious, but you're a creator being. And you're unconsciously creating what you don't want. This is a key concept I want you to understand today. Are you with me? Are you with me? Okay, number two, emotions. Oh, don't bring those here. It's unprofessional. Boys don't cry. You're going to look weak. So we've been taught, most of society teaches us, you leave emotions at home, you get over it, you go to work, you just put on a happy face, or you tough it up, you power through, you fake it till you make it. Emotions are the gas that makes the car run. They are the most powerful force that's creating the physical. There was a PhD, Dr. Valerie Hunt from UCLA, who I just admire so much. She was the first person to ever photograph the energy field, which I'll talk about because that's number three. I'll talk about that in a moment. But Dr. Hunt had a research lab for like 30 years. She wrote books. She figured out how to use oscilloscopes and camera film and computers. I mean, people have brains like this. And she figured out how to put this all together and photograph the energy field. And you know what she discovered in study after study? That emotions emit frequencies. And these frequencies are the strongest contributing factor to both health or health hell. They either cause disease or they cause health. And they work both ways. And we're all doing it. And we're doing it either consciously or unconsciously. And most people are unconscious because they've been taught, don't bring those emotions here. So emotions are energy, and energy doesn't die. This is science. This is not Deborah. This is science. Emotions don't die, but emotions change form all the time. Energy changes form all the time, and energy has to go somewhere. Now, some people are more extroverted with their energy, and you know them. They're the ones screaming at you. But other people, that they're more introverted, and they don't speak up and express their emotions, and it goes inward and it implodes. And if you do it long enough, it comes out sideways as a symptom. That was me. I would out of nowhere just explode sometimes because the closet would get full and people would say, oh my God, who's that? And send her back. It was, they didn't expect that out of me. She's so nice, but who's that? Because you can't, the symptoms will show up in some form. For me, ulcers, migraines, stomach aches, headaches, can't sleep, lots of symptoms, pains and aches. But nobody helped me put 2 and 2 together for a long, long time. Now, if we don't find and release these destructive emotions, they're going to get our attention. So first we have to find and release the damaging thoughts, the beliefs, the habits of thought. Second, we have to find and release what are you doing with those emotions? Where are they going? We store them. That's what a lot of the neck pain and the back pain and the stomach, that's what a lot of this is. It's just energy that's getting trapped. And third, we want to look in the energy field. Now, this is relatively new on the scene, but the energy field is the fastest, the safest way without drugs to clear out the thoughts, the emotions, and the symptoms that have already shown up in the body. This is what's so revolutionary in the health industry. Dr. Hunt was able to photograph this, and what she was seeing again and again is that the emotions emit a frequency, and the frequencies affects the nervous system, the immune system, and different organs. Now, Chinese medicine has known this for 5,000 years. And they've been talking about this for a long, long time. So it's new science, but it's also old. That our energy, just our pure physical energy, our organs are being affected, our nervous system, our immune system is being affected by emotions. And then what Dr. Hunt could see in these photographs is that even if it already showed up in the body as a physical disease symptom or pain, when a person had emotional release, guess what cleared up? Now, this may sound out there to some of you, because I teach this all the time, but then people still ask me, but what about the physical body, Deborah? My stuff is physical. I saw it on an X-ray. I know, I get it. But what I'm sharing with you is that the physical body can change. If you were to see your body under a high-powered piece of equipment, you would see it's not physical. Your body is made of it's a mass of vibrating particles of energy and light. And when you go on your computer and you see a picture on your computer and you blow it up and you see all the little pixels, the little circles that are colored dots, that's what you look like. You are light. You are vibrating light, my friends. You are made of energy, and you're carrying a particular vibrational pattern that gets labeled fibromyalgia or chronic fatigue syndrome. It gets labeled, but it's a pattern. It's a vibrational pattern. And think of it like music. There's some music, when you play it, it would make you want to run for the hills. And there's other music that's just so soothing. You feel like, oh my God, I just feel so relaxed and good. Or I feel energized and happy. Sound, music, that's your body. Your body is basically playing the music of your life. Does that make sense? And we can retune your instrument when it gets out of tune. And that's what has happened. And so one of the best things you can do for yourself is stop the doctor Googling and stop the over-focusing on everything you've been taught about what's going on with you. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not here to replace your doctor. I'm not giving medical advice. You need to do what brings you peace and peace of mind. But you can do this along with any medical care that you're doing. I've worked with people, a lot of people who have cancer. I'll give you one example of what's possible that will blow your mind. This woman had stage 4 cancer for this. She had stage 2 the first time. They gave her chemo and radiation. She went into remission for 2 years. And then after 2 years, the breast cancer turned into breast cancer again and bone cancer. And they told her she was stage 4, too far gone, and pack your bags. And she was 72 at the time. She was so sick, she couldn't even eat. She did not want to die. And I was invited by a subtle energy research lab to go into this laboratory and work on this woman. And they had this incredible equipment that comes out of Japan that no one knows about. And it's used in physics, but not biology or medicine. And they strapped her up to all this equipment, and they videoed the whole thing, and they took all these measurements, and they did an MRI before as well. And I was to work on her once a week for 3 weeks, and that was it. And I was not allowed to speak to her. I didn't know her story or what was going on with her. I wasn't allowed to talk to her. They measured for 20 minutes before I ever came in the room. Then they measured her the entire time while I was working on her. And then they measured her. I would leave and they would measure her for 20 more minutes to see if they noticed a difference when I was there or not there, and working on her or not working on her. And then after 3 weeks, she was scheduled for another MRI. And then I was allowed to have a meeting and talk to her about her experience. Session number 2, she bursts out crying. She sobs for 20 minutes. I finish the session and I leave. Now remember, I'm not allowed to talk to her, but I knew something big had happened. After the 3rd week of working on her, she went for that MRI. And it showed an 82% reduction in the tumors that she had, which were everywhere in her body. Now, she did no other type of treatment, nothing. She was barely eating. 82% reduction in tumors, and within a month, her doctor declared her completely cancer-free. When I was finally able to speak to her, she told me, I knew in that 2nd session, she said, I had an inner experience. I knew where the cancer came from. It was an argument that was very abusive that she had with her late husband. She said her husband came to her in the experience. They had a conversation and they made peace over this. And she knew, and that's what she had been crying about. She felt the pain coming up and coming out. She realized from within herself what had been going on, and that she had been holding on to the pain of their marriage and the things he said to her and did to her for all these years. And it was too much to bear. And she said, I knew that I was going to heal. I knew that I was going to be cancer-free after that 2nd appointment with you. And she said, I just knew it. Now, does this happen in every case that quickly? No, it doesn't. And I'm not here to make any guarantees. I can't. I'm not God. But I will say that I have seen it over and over and over, that your emotions, coupled with the thoughts that you repeat and repeat and you rinse and repeat day in and day out, and what you were taught probably before the age of 8 or 9, got programmed into your computer. And your 6-year-old may be affecting your 60-year-old life with emotions you picked up, with belief systems you were given, because your subconscious mind takes it all in and just says yes, yes, yes to every file, like a computer with no virus protection. And so you got programmed, we all did, with certain ideas that are not true, but that you believe are true. Like, I'll never be able to heal. I'll be in pain my whole life. I'll never get over the trauma. Things like that. Many people that I've worked with and know have gone through extraordinary abuse and trauma and violence and neglect and all kinds of things when they were growing up and even later in life. My greatest abuse came later in life. And I thought it was going to kill me. I've never been so depressed in my life as being in a relationship with an abuser. And I didn't even know what that was at the time. Everything that we're taking in information day in and day out, from the time we're in the womb, we're taking in information, and it's imprinting and being recorded in our energy field. Now, the other thing that Dr. Hunt and the physicists that discovered this energy field, and let me back up a minute here. So this energy field is not something I made up. It actually became the fifth field that was classified in physics back in I think it was 1990s, or 1980s or 90s. I have to look it up. I can't remember what year, but it was actually a new field discovered that was given the name information field. Why? Because they discovered the field was informing the body. Now think of a magnet. It has a field around it. You can't see it, but you take two magnets, there's a field that's attracted to each other, right? We have that field. It's actually an extension of our physical body, and it's more subtle energy. The only reason your body is physical is it's a denser, slower vibration. But many, many, many feet out of your, beyond the skin, you have an energy field. And it's more subtle, so you can't see it or touch it. Now, we actually live in a gigantic field. We're all interconnected in one ocean of energy. And you're picking up information from this giant information field all the time, 24/7. But if you're not conscious of it and you don't become a master of your energy field, you're a victim of it. And you'll feel like a victim, like, how is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? And people get lost for decades in the why is this happening to me? Instead of, how do I release what's standing in the way of my natural God-given state, which is health? We have forgotten our natural state. We think it's disease now. We think aging equals pain. We think disease is normal. No, it's a sign that we've moved from ease into dis-ease. Nature's actually very simple. It follows a blueprint. You don't see the trees and the dogs wanting to be something or someone else. They follow their blueprint. They're not complaining that they want to be taller, shorter, this or that. They're just following their blueprint. But we've been given free will and this mind, this intellect, which I'm not opposed to. It's great. But when intellect overrides our feeling nature, which is our inner GPS, which will tell us 24/7 whether we're in ease or dis-ease, we have a problem. And most people are disconnected from their emotional nature because we've been taught, go into the head, go into the mind, figure it out, and get back to work. Figure it out, figure it out, figure it out, analyze it. But whatever you do, don't trust those feelings. Yet your feelings are your GPS. Now, again, we have to sort out some of the childhood stuff, because sometimes your feelings you just got from other people. You've been picking, some of you, I bet, will relate to this. You can feel everybody. How many of you would say, I can feel other people and how they're feeling, and I take it home with me and it drains me and I feel too sensitive and I know, I don't know what to do with this. Lots of people are like that. Not everyone, but there are a lot of people who get labeled too sensitive because they have a very open energy field and they can pick up information quickly. Other people are just very internal and put a wall up and they're not sensing all of that, but they're not in touch with their own inner being either. They're just thinking, analyzing, reading data. There has to be a deep connection, the most important relationship you can ever have, is with your innermost self. That's your connection to the invisible realm, to what I call God. You might want to call it the universe or nature or the divine mind or God consciousness. You can call it whatever you want, but many, many, many cultures for decades, thousands of years have talked about the something greater than me. I know I look out my beautiful window. I didn't create all that, but I'm responding to it, and I'm creating stories about it, and I'm having feelings about it. And all of this is affecting my health, and it's affecting yours too. And yet all these things, they're not discussed in school. No one's talking about this. We're just trying to sit still from the age of 5 and walk on a straight line and get the answer right. And then if you do that, supposedly everything's going to be fine, but it isn't fine. And so I'm here to shake it up and say, we got to start talking about all of this in a new way and stop trying to get it right, be good enough, pretend that we don't feel how we feel, and start getting real and telling the truth, because this is how we heal. We have to find a safe space. We have to get the right guidance we have to share it instead of pulling back, isolating, never talking about what's really going on. We have to stop overriding the heart with the head. And finally, science is showing the relationship between the gut and the heart, and that it really is where the brain is, in the gut and the heart. If those of you that know about the Heart Math Institute and have seen the research there, there's so much evidence now that we can heal, everything can change. The body was designed to heal, but it does require a safe space. And if you sit down and get really honest and you look at what's going on, the hidden reasons inside of you that are connected to the dis-ease, I would bet most of you, 99.99%, it's related to you not feeling safe. And most of us imprinted. See, our energy field is like a recording device. Think of a recording device that's turned on your entire life. And it's recording every event, the happy, the mad, the sad, the glad, all of it. So if you grew up in a setting where you didn't feel safe, or you didn't feel loved, or you were criticized, or the bar was set really high and you just couldn't, you just never felt good enough. You didn't feel like you fit in. If every time, or even some of the time, you wanted to express yourself, you were told, well, you shouldn't feel like that. Don't do that. No, don't go to school there. Don't become that. That's a stupid choice. If you started to Botox yourself instead of fully express yourself, that is the root of dis-ease. We came here, we are divine expressions. We came here to express in the fullest, freest way. But how many of you feel like you fully, freely expressed yourself since you were a young child and still do? How many of you feel safe enough to really be your fullest, freest self? And I know I didn't. And I started to chip away at my blueprint and shut it down and close it off and become scared to be who I was designed to be. And that led to my health hell moment where I just couldn't do it anymore. And you know what? That was the best moment of my life. Now that sounds crazy, right? But had I known that once I finally surrendered trying to control and be who I thought you wanted me to be, If I had known that if I had surrendered earlier, if I had known that would change my life and my health, I would have surrendered sooner. So I hope that any of you who are suffering, if you hear nothing else that I say, it's that you don't have to suffer one more moment. There is a solution. It involves 3 areas. There's nowhere else to look. It's your mind, your emotions, and your energy field. And if you do the work in those 3 areas, which is what I'm here to help you do, your body will change. It must change. Even Einstein said, if you are exposed to the right frequency, the body must change. It's science. So you can do that. There's technology that has frequencies, but what I've been blessed to refine over the years is that I'm able to scan the energy field, even for a group of people of unlimited size, and I can feel where the disturbances are. And so what I have been shown that my purpose here is to offer these frequencies of healing to people to help them rapidly release pain and trauma and suffering in the fastest, safest way possible. And that's why I'm so passionate about this. And I don't shut up about it because it works and it helps people. And I love being able to offer it and help people. So I live for this, and I live for the people that tell me, oh my God, my pain is gone, or oh my God, I'm not crying every night, or oh my God, I slept for the first time in years, or oh my God, I got off my antidepressants, or oh my God, my family and I are getting along again, or I now have money in the bank, or I got my career back, or I'm able to go to yoga, I'm dance, I'm able to move. I live for those moments. And I want that for you. And don't think that you're unique, that you're not. People start telling me, yeah, but I've had this for 50 years. I know. Oh, but my family had it. Did you know that genes are turned on and off by the beliefs in your mind? Google epigenetics if you're going to Google, because the genes we know from science, they turn on and off based on our beliefs. This is science. There is a solution, and I don't want you giving up hope. So I work with people one-on-one, I work with people in groups, I do these free calls. I wrote a book, which reminds me, if you have not yet downloaded a copy of my book, it's free on my website. It's called Why Do I Still Hurt? It's more like a workbook that will start to get you thinking in a new direction and take this conversation a little deeper. So if you go to internationalcpi.com/free gift, and I'll put that in the chat, you can download a copy of the book. And if you don't like reading, which I know nobody reads books anymore, I made a video masterclass for those of you who would prefer to watch a video masterclass. It'll be right there after you sign up for the free gift. You'll have immediate access to the video. Let me put in the chat here. Hang on, my microphone's in the way. If you go to internationalcpi.com/free gifts, you can download the book and see the video, and you'll be invited to all of the free calls that I do, as well as any other interviews or podcasts that I do. And you know, I'm speaking up a storm these days. The world is opening up, and it's just so exciting to see more and more people understanding that energy is everything, and you are able to help yourself by changing your energetic frequency. Now, how do you do that? Well, when you start living more in gratitude instead of fear, when you start showing up on calls like this and you start thinking differently, when you start talking about how you feel, these are basics. They sound so simple. People say, well, it can't be that easy. Guess what? Your words are vibration. Your thoughts are vibration. They change the physical. It starts with invisible vibration. Words are powerful vibration. It's just like music. So what are you speaking? Watch your language. What are you telling yourself all day long, 90,000 times a day? Watch your thoughts like a cat watches a mouse. You can start changing these things. When was the last time you got quiet, sat, and really listened inside to what your body is screaming at you, trying to tell you? I worked with a private client earlier today, and she was diagnosed with carpal tunnel syndrome and didn't want the surgery, but had a lot of pain. And when she finally started practicing some of the things that I teach in my pain-free living program, she said to me today, "You won't believe what I heard inside." See, it's not about me convincing you of something or doing a psychic reading. You need to get in touch with what's going on inside you, and I can help draw that out of you, but you have your own answers inside. So you know what she discovered? She said, "I'm still holding on to the pain, feeling responsible for the death of someone I was close to." What do you think wrists and hands do? They either hold on or they let go. I have worked with more people who were told they needed wrist surgery and had carpal tunnel, who once they had the emotional release and got in touch with the emotional pain, they had no pain and no wrist surgery. This is very common. So, all right, where are we? Where are you at? What questions do you have? I'd like to open up the conversation. I've done a lot of talking. What about you? Type any questions you have for me in the chat, and I will do my best to start helping in a more specific way to your particular questions. Let me also say before I forget, so the energy field, for those of you who want to experience what has now become the high-speed biofield healing. Biofield is the clinical name for the energy field that was labeled by the National Institute of Health back in 1992. They studied the field and they said, yes, it's real. And they called it a biofield. So sometimes I refer to my method as biofield healing. That's what it was called in the early days, but nobody could say the word and they kept calling it biofuel and it got very confusing. And so I changed the name of the method, but we are doing healing in the energy field. And if that's something you want to experience, I offer that in a group setting as well as one-on-one. So you can check that out on my website as well. I'm not going to go into all the details, but I work with people all over the world. It's all virtual. You do not need to be in person to experience this. It's just as powerful. In fact, it's more powerful because you're lying in your own bed where you feel safest. And I've worked with tens of thousands of people now in over 160 countries. And if you want to have your mind blown, look at the success story page on my website. And I still pinch myself at what is possible. And I've really come to believe that anything and everything is possible. So do not give up hope. Do a little more research on my website. Okay, so in the chat, let's see. So this is very common. Anna is saying, I grew up with a very abusive family and I was never feeling safe and being judged and ganged up on and forced to suppress my feelings and being told I was stupid when I cry. I'm sorry to say that that happened to you, Anna, and I'm also sorry to say that you're not alone. I hear this every single day, and I know what that feels like. And I also know you can heal from this. The past is a memory, and memories are thoughts, and thoughts can change. And the key, and I want everyone to hear this, the key is not how do I change? It's, are you 100% willing to change? Willingness is more important than how. Now, I do teach the self-care techniques in my program. I do. And we don't have time in a call like this for me to teach you everything I know. We could be here for months. But the fact is, if you're willing, not even 100% willing, if you're a little bit willing, you can change and you can heal. And Anna, I know we have a private appointment coming up and I'm looking forward to working with you and you're going to change. And so what I would ask each and every one of you today from this moment 5:56 in Pacific time. From this moment forward, Anna and everyone, I want you to start thinking about what's possible for me. I want you to ask a new question, not why did this happen to me, not how do I get rid of this, but ask yourself, what do I believe is possible for me? And I want you to use your spare time daydreaming about that. And I want you to write down all the things that you think are possible for you in this lifetime. And I want you to stretch. I want you to go beyond your comfort zone with what you think might be possible for you, and write it down. Even if you think it maybe is possible, I'm not really sure, but maybe it could be possible for me. You see, if one person can heal from abuse, then everyone can. If one person can heal from an incurable illness, then other people can. If one person who couldn't walk can now walk, and I've seen it over and over. I've had many people come to me that were paralyzed, that had been given the diagnosis of multiple sclerosis and couldn't walk. I had one woman who I do every now and then, I do a live event that's an all-day online event where you're immersed in the healing frequencies all day. And I've had two different people now who had MS and had been in a wheelchair their entire life, never walked. And they got up after the day during the day of healing and started walking. You see, we've been led to believe that healing has to take a long time. It's going to be very painful. It's going to be hard. It may not be possible for me because of my genetics. And on and on and on with the beliefs. Please, everyone, your beliefs can change. And when your beliefs change, you'll change. And if you're going to wait to believe it till you see it, you've got it backwards. You believe it and then you'll see it. And that's how energy works. That's how energy works. You believe it and then you'll see it. All right, let's see what other questions are here. I had lots of surgery. I've had insomnia for 20 years. This is also very common. And even as a young baby, I tried so many different approaches. Can you help with this? Yes, I help people every single day. Insomnia occurs when something happened where you didn't feel safe. And think about it. I mean, it's logical. When you drop into deep sleep and you get right to that place where you're going to lose consciousness, a part of you, and that comes from your nervous system, a part of you goes, oh my God, somebody's got to keep watch. We're not safe. There's danger, danger, danger. That, if you trace that back, and you may or may not remember the originating incident, but something happened that scared the hell out of you. And when that happens to any of us, we go into the sympathetic nervous system, which is there to protect you. And it either fights, runs like hell, or freezes up. But in any case, it feels danger. We're wired to sense danger so that we can survive. But what happens is sometimes that imprint is really strong and we never go back to feeling safe. And then other things happen that resemble that original incident. And over time, it could be a look, a sound, a person, an experience that resembles, and you're just building up and building up the ball of fear that says red alert, red alert. And for some people, that red alert becomes their new normal. And these are the people who don't sleep at night. They don't sleep for decades until they work with me, and I'll get at it. I will help you find it. I can feel it in your energy field. Even you don't even have to always know what it was. See, don't get all lost in the, oh my God, what if I don't remember? Don't go there, because you don't need to remember. It can, the pattern is a vibrational pattern. And with healing frequencies, it harmonizes your field. So it's like a guitar where it has all the strings, but some of the strings are out of tune, and we tune the strings up, and then the guitar plays the music again. Your body's no different. Your sleep is no different. You just got out of rhythm, out of your natural rhythm because of some experiences from life. So it's all changeable. All right. Deborah said, I took your high-speed healing and I had skin cancer and miraculously it disappeared. Imagine that. And then it came back. How do I make the healing permanent? I love this question and so good to see you. I'm glad you're here. So in every single case, so when I first started working in this field years ago, I only did the energy healing and I did not have the course that I now teach. I wouldn't talk to people. I didn't want to know what was going on. I just worked in their energy field. And 90% of the people got results. But there was about 10% of the people who they even got results at first, but then they would say what Deborah said. They would call me 6 months, a year, 2 years down the road, and they'd say, it's back. Why is it back? So I'm the type that has to figure it out. And so in every case, I had a conversation with these people, and I've discovered the same thing in every case, which is what made me write the book and create the course, the Pain-Free Living Program. It was always a combination. It was one or both. It was either a false belief that was operating or a series of beliefs, or in most cases, it was emotional suppression. Now, let me give you an example. I worked with a woman who had a brain tumor, and they told her she needed surgery and then a plate of some kind, titanium maybe, in her head. And she said, absolutely no way do I want to do that. So she was seeking alternative solutions. And she came to my office years ago. And I worked with her for a month and she went back and there was no tumor. And so she went on about her, and I should tell you, the tumor pressed on her optic nerve and she lost her vision in one eye and it was deforming her face. So they took away her driver's license because she couldn't see well enough. Well, after I worked on her vision came back, her face started healing visually. She could see it in the mirror. And then when she got checked, the tumor was gone and she went back to work, driving, everything. And about a year later, she called me and she said, I think the tumor's back. So we had a long, deep conversation. And what I discovered is that she actually believed, she grew up, where was it again? It was South Africa. And she grew up in a culture that believed in black magic. And she went back to visit and she said that she believed that someone put a curse on her. And from that moment, she said she felt all this fear just filling her body and her mind, and she couldn't get it off her mind. And she thought she could feel this person just haunting her. And lo and behold, guess what came back? The tumor. I helped her release false beliefs and the fear that she was carrying around, which, by the way, fear is the lowest vibration, and it affects your nervous system, your immune system, and every organ in your body. And so we think of getting stronger as lifting weights or taking vitamins. But if we don't address the fears and the unresolved emotions and the false beliefs, this is like eating poison every day. And worked with her for another month, no tumor. So you see, these are dramatic examples of what's possible. And you're no different. So I would suspect, Deborah, there's something going on with you. And if we were to have a deeper conversation, which you can book with me, it's called my discovery session. If you go to my website, book the 90-minute discovery session, and we'll have that conversation and we'll get to the roots of what's going on with you. And it will help me see, most people have blind spots, and it's not your fault. It doesn't mean you're stupid. It's hard to see ourselves. It's why we need other people. We need other people's eyes and ears and intuition and experience. It's difficult to see yourself because you're swirling around in the same thoughts and emotions that you've had for your whole life. And I think, again, it was Einstein that said you can't solve a problem at the level of the problem. You have to have a higher perspective. So sometimes that comes when we ask for help from someone else. So I'm happy to help you. Let's see. How do we clear things in our energy field we are not fully conscious of? Maybe repressed experiences of generational traumas. Yes, Angie. So that's where I come in until you take my training program and become a practitioner. You can't, you don't know how to do that, but you can start. So in my pain-free living program, I give you the self-care tools, which help you release the false beliefs and learn how to, where you're storing the emotions in your body and how to release those. And you want to learn those tools because when you learn those, you start releasing what's in your energy field. And when you, and then I can more rapidly work on you for you until you learn how to do that in the training. But you can learn, you can learn. And I believe we're all here having a human experience, but we're really spiritual beings having a human experience. And we get lost in the human experience. And then we start to think that we're limited and that we can't access a much greater experience because we're taught that humans are limited. But what if, just what if, you're actually an energetic being, a spiritual being, and you're unlimited in nature, but nobody's taught you how to use it? It would be like having a GPS in your car and you could go anywhere you want, but you don't know, you never turn it on, so you don't know how to get there. That's the path that I'm trying to carve out, not trying, I've carved out. And if you take my hand, I will gladly show you the way. And it does take willingness. You have to be teachable and be open to looking at yourself. Not everybody wants to do that. That's okay. I can't help everybody. But if you're teachable and you're willing and you ask for help, you can learn. Let's see. So Sue is saying my back hurts. This is very common as well. My back hurts from the top of my neck, just where it leaves my head, and it goes all the way down to my tailbone. I've had chiropractors, pain doctors, steroids. You see, those of you who have tried a lot of things, chiropractors, massages, the pills, the lotions, and the potions, and your pain doesn't leave, I can pretty much guarantee you that there's emotions and habits of thought that are holding a pattern literally in your bones, your spine, your body. You see, your body is holding, your body is your mind. Let me say it this way. Your body is your mind. If you think you don't know what's in your unconscious mind, look at your body. It will tell you what's unresolved in your mind and in your life. And we many times go through our lives trying to distract ourselves from how we really feel. Let me give you another great example. Chris came to me years ago. He had been diagnosed with fibromyalgia, arthritis, and chronic fatigue syndrome, and he had Hashimoto's, which is a thyroid condition. Insomnia. Chris was a what do you call it? A CPA, an accountant. He hated his job, but his father and his grandfather were accountants, and they said, "You're going to be an accountant." So for 30 years, Chris went to work as an accountant, and he hated his job, the building, the people, the work, but he did it. And he did it to provide for his family. And he had 2 boys, and he loved coaching Little League, but he had to stop doing that because the pain was so overwhelming. He hurt all the time, and he became so tired and exhausted that he had to lie on the couch, stop working, and his wife had to go to work. And he couldn't do Little League. So Chris and I had a conversation. And what I discovered is that Chris was really into quantum physics, but he didn't tell anyone. He was fascinated about energy and healing and all this new science. but he didn't tell anybody. And he had a secret desire to actually learn how to do energy healing. But he thought everyone would think he was nuts. And he actually said to me, I can't do that because I have to be an accountant. He was carrying the idea that he would let his family down, that he had to be an accountant. Well, let me tell you something, my friends. If you have a heart's desire and it's really strong and you don't listen and follow your blueprint, that's okay. That is one option. But eventually, if it's really the right path for you, your body will develop so much pain that your body will say, okay, you're not listening. I'm going to shut you down. I'm going to level you to the couch until you start paying closer attention to what is right for you. And you start to let go of what is no longer serving you. Now, we don't wear the clothes we wore from kindergarten, but we force ourselves. Many people force themselves into a box that they've outgrown because we live in a society that doesn't teach us how to let go and change easily. And there are lots of people who believe that I have to do the same thing my entire life. I can't change. This will create pain, my friends. I promise you. You need to get to really know yourself. Your soul is probably screaming at you. If you've tried a lot of things and nothing's worked, there are deeper hidden reasons, and I will help you find them, and I'll help you and give you the support that you need till you feel strong enough on your own, being who you're meant to be. And that is a gift to both you and me, to set yourself free. We're here to be free beings. And many people are in a self-imposed jail cell and don't even know it. I was, and I am free now. So I can tell you, I'll give you the get out of jail card free. I'll give it to you gladly and help you get to the other side. All right, let's see. So let me see other questions here. Let's see here. You're welcome, Ed. It's such a pleasure to have you here. I'm so honored that you're here. Okay, this is interesting, and I could do an entire course on this. So Tessia, sorry, I was trying to get your name right. Tessia is saying, how can I manifest money to pay for all the help that I need? So we have to understand everything is energy, including money. Everything. Now, what most people think they have is a money problem. No, what you either have is a feminine energy or a masculine energy problem. Let me explain that. Some people have issues with receiving. In fact, many people have an issue with receiving, and they're always in some form of lack. And the lack can show up as a lack of health, lack of money, lack of love, lack of friendship, lack of something. That's a lack issue based on beliefs, because our natural state is not lack. We live in an abundant universe. Now, other people have a giving issue, and they don't like to give. They don't like to express who they are. They don't like to share their gifts. They don't offer their gifts to the world. They don't want to be a bother. They think no one will want what they have. They'll think thoughts like, well, no one would buy what I have. Who do I think I am? Any of you grow up hearing that? Who do you think you are? Many people carry lots and lots of beliefs about money and what it means about you as a person. Money's energy. It means nothing except for the meaning you give it. And I could work with people for day and night for months on money, because there's been so much garbage put into the mindset of most humans about money and what it means about your character and your sense of worth and all of these things. If you start focusing tonight on the fact that there's no shortage of energy anywhere in the universe, energy flows freely in and out, and that money is energy, and you start thinking about that, and you open up a pathway to give. If you think you lack money, then give some money and open up the energetic pathway of sending out, because what you send out has to come back to you. The energy you send out must come back. Now, it doesn't always come back from who you give it to. And if you literally don't have any money to give, then give of your time and your energy. Because when you give out energy, it must come back. And there's no shortage of energy. So start thinking about these things and read my book and answer the questions. And I'll put it on my list to do another call about money at some point as well, because there's no shortage of money. There's a perception that's off. And ask yourself, how willing are you to receive? How much are you comfortable receiving? And are you willing to receive more than what you believe? See, if you genuinely believe that the universe doesn't withhold anything from you, you'll probably find money on the street tomorrow. And I'm living proof of this, because there have been more than one time in my life where I had no money, none, zero, no savings account, no boyfriend, no husband, no nothing. And I'll never forget once, I did not know where I was going to have the money for lunch that day. And I went to an event that was free, and I sat down, and all of a sudden the woman sitting in front of me turned around and went, "Oh, Deborah, I haven't seen you in years, and I still owe you that $50 that I never paid you back for. And let me take you to lunch, and then I'll write you a check." I'm telling you, my friends, the universe is not your enemy. Life supports us. We have work to do to clear out the cobwebs that keep the abundance of life energy from us. There's no shortage, there's no lack. Whether you think you lack health or love or energy or whatever, money, whatever it is, do the work, and I'll show you how if you don't know how. Do the work to clear out what is in the way of me receiving and knowing that I'm a whole, perfect being, whole, W-H-O-L-E. I'm whole and perfect and complete just the way I am. I was created in the image and likeness of a creator being. I have creative powers within me. But how am I using them? And with that, my friends, we've been here quite a while, and I just can't thank you enough for all of your open-mindedness, your willingness, your listening. I hope you've gotten some golden nuggets today. I hope something is shaking you up and making you question. I hope some of you are even pissed off. That's okay. That's a good thing. It's a motivator. I hope those of you who are ready will reach out and let me help you. And if you're not ready, that's okay too. Come back. It takes a while hearing this message for it to sink in from the head down into the heart and into the bones. But what I will leave you with today is, no matter what, no matter how far down the scale you've gone, no matter what you think is possible or not, the body is designed to heal. And so don't give up hope, and take one next small step, just one small step forward, out of your comfort zone. Just don't stop. Even if it's not with me, just find somebody that you trust and take one small step forward and do something that your future self will thank you for. And with that, my friends, I'm going to ask everybody to unmute so we can say good night to each other. And thank you so much for being here. Come back soon.
Good night.
Deborah.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you so much.
Deborah.
Lots of love.
Yeah,
Good night, Deborah.
Have
I've been searching for someone
Yes,
like you
thank
for
you,
so
Deborah.
long.
Thank you, but we can't download book.